Dear children, welcome to the third podcast on Civics Chapter 10 Law and Social Justice. In this podcast, we would be discussing two topics. First, what is a worker's worth? And second, enforcement of safety laws. What is a worker's worth? If we are to understand the events leading to Bhopal gas disaster, we have to ask, why did Union Carbide set up its plant in India? One reason why foreign companies come to India is for cheap labor. Wages that the companies pay to workers, say in the USA, are far higher than what they have to pay to workers in poorer countries like India. For lower pay, companies can get longer hours of work. Additional expenses, such as for housing facilities for workers, are also fewer. Thus, companies can save costs and earn higher profits. Cost cutting can also be done by other more dangerous means. Lower working conditions, including lower safety measures, are used as ways of cutting costs. In the UC plant, every safety device was malfunctioning or was in short supply. Between 1980 and 1984, the work crew for the MIC plant was cut in half from 12 to 6 workers. The period of safety training for workers was brought down from 6 months to 15 days. The post of night shift worker for the plant was abolished. Now let's compare the safety system of the UC's plant in USA and in Bhopal. At West Virginia, USA, computerized warning and monitoring systems were in place, whereas the UC plant in Bhopal relied on manual gauges and the human senses to detect gas leaks. At the West Virginia plant, emergency evacuation plans were in place but non-existent in Bhopal. Why are there such sharp differences in safety standards across countries? And even after the disaster happened, why was the compensation to the victims so low? One part of the answer lies in what is perceived as the worth of an Indian worker. One worker can easily replace another. Since there is so much unemployment, there are many workers who are willing to work in unsafe conditions in return for a wage, making use of the worker's vulnerability. Employers ignore safety in workplaces. Thus, even so many years after the Bhopal gas tragedy, there are regular reports of accidents in construction sites, mines, or factories due to the callous attitude of the employers. Now, coming to enforcement of safety laws. As the lawmaker and enforcer, the government is supposed to ensure that safety laws are implemented. It is also the duty of the government to ensure that the right to life guaranteed under Article 21 of the Constitution is not violated. But now the question is, what was the government doing when there were such blatant violations of safety standards in the UC plant? First, the safety laws were lax in India. Second, even these weak safety laws were not enforced. Government officials refused to recognize the plant as hazardous and allowed it to come up in a populated locality. When some municipal officials in Bhopal objected that the installation of an MIC production unit in 1978 was a safety violation, the position of the government was that the state needs the continued investment of the Bhopal plant, which provides jobs. It was unthinkable, according to them, to ask UC to shift to cleaner technology or safer procedures. Government inspectors continued to approve the procedures in the plant, even when repeated incidents of leaks from the plant made it obvious to everybody that things were seriously wrong. This is contrary to what the role of a lawmaking and enforcement agency should be. Instead of protecting the interests of the people, their safety was being disregarded both by the government and by private companies. This is obviously not at all desirable. With more industries being set up both by local and foreign businesses in India, there is a great need for stronger laws protecting workers' rights and better enforcement of these laws. Thank you.